Okay, so like I was saying, just to get started, it's how to successfully onboard marketing automation. It's one of those topics that for me is, you might already have automation, you may be looking at automation, you may have had it for years. It doesn't matter. This talk's still relevant because I think what people do, everything all right over there? What people do is they tend to all follow the same traits. And you know, you might have seen this phenomenon that when you walk into a shop, you always turn left. Those, it might be right, actually, I don't know, there's only two options, but the point is we all do the same thing, and we observe it all the time with customers, with, you know, as they onboard it, or even when they tell us about the experiences they've had with other platforms. And what we want to do today is break down to those things, bring them to you, and you can decide whether you're doing those things or whether you need help or whatever. Take it from there.
We were talking about the other day, weren't we? I think with the whole onboarding process of marketing automation, there's kind of two things people think about, and that's kind of what we're going to break the webinar down into today. So there's the whole process of what can you do to kind of make sure that it's set up correctly, you speed up the process of that, and you're not holding anyone back. So there's that kind of section, you know, you sign the contracts, you know, you're waiting to basically get the keys to this advanced marketing automation platform. What should you be doing in that time? Should you just be sitting back? You know, obviously we're going to talk about what you should be doing, but then I think the people, what people don't quite realize is once you've got the marketing automation platform, that's not the end. That's not the end of onboarding.
Oh, really?
At all. No. We want to basically carry this on, and we want to say, like, what is the best way to get up and running with marketing automation so you can basically hit the ground running? Because I think a lot of people, like you say, we've seen this before. You get the marketing automation platform, and then you
expect it's done at that point.
Yeah, it's done. That's it. You've got it. So straight away, I'm going to be world-class marketing. I'm going to have all that. That's not the case at all. And that's obviously that we're going to talk about that in a bit more detail today, aren't we?
Okay. So it's about us being able to accept the journey, so to speak. And, but also recognizing, somebody said on a TV show the other day, life is what happens on my way to achieving my goals. That's deep, isn't it?
That is deep.
So if that's our goal, we're going to get good at marketing automation. We're going to automate everything. It's actually what happens in that journey. And that's what we're talking about today. So, all right, Rory.
Let's have, well, first of all, a few little introductions.
Good idea.
Myself, I'm Rory Groves. I'm the marketing manager here at Force 24. I'd like to say welcome as well to this is our second webinar in the spring webinar series, which we're doing. If you sign up for one, you signed up for the whole series. So you don't need to worry about sort of putting your details in again. I'm the marketing manager here, as I said, for Force 24. Been here for about nearly 4 years now, and I deal with basically everything in terms of making people aware of how great sort of marketing automation is and the Force 24 platform itself. Really
brilliant. And Rory, you've been around for a long time, just hanging on in there as ever. You've been here since what, 17, 18, something like that. Yeah. And in that time, we as Force 24, you know, we've been on our journey, and Rory, you've been alongside everything that we've done. So it's particularly relevant to be talking about, you know, we'd still say that we're in onboarding. We're still onboarding automation. We're trying to get things right. Yeah. And you know, what's interesting is we all make mistakes from time to time, and that's a reality of it. So, okay, let's crack on. Oh, sorry. I'm Adam. Apologize. I'm Adam. I'm the CEO of Force 24. I'm the original founder of Force 24 in 2010. And we've now grown to, we support over 6,000 marketeers in the UK. We are around about 100 and something employees in the UK and Romania. We're growing at the rate of, we're the fastest growing automation platform in the UK at the moment. So all good stuff. But before we do start, I built this company out of a vision, and the vision still stands true today. And that's one of the things that gives me the confidence to know that we're doing the right thing. And that vision was all about empowering marketeers. It's all about making you guys more powerful. It's a much more long-winded vision than just that. But for now, that's all it is. Okay, Rory.
So let's start with, let's take things right back. You just put pen to paper. What would you say is the first thing, you know, someone should do to help with this onboarding process? What would you say, Adam?
So I've just signed a contract with the marketing automation platform. Just today, signed a contract with marketing. Okay, what would I do? Well, first thing, probably would be around managing my expectations. I would understand that Rome wasn't built in a day, and I'd understand that it's a process that iterates over the course of time. And I would probably want to suggest that it's not going to happen overnight. When I'm on a journey, if I look back on anything that I was doing 2 years ago, I look back and think, oh my God, how was I getting away with that? You know, it's recognize that I'm going to think that in the next year about what I'm doing today. There are some sort of functional things that I know as a marketing automation platform I've got to get done. So I guess I've just signed the contract. I'd say, look, am I resourced adequately to get those bits done? So obviously I'm going to need to connect the website. Well, that's a line of code on the footer of your website. That's really easy. So my web developers can do that. Awesome. Or if I use Google Tag Manager, I can do it myself. Awesome. But that's only a 5-minute job. I have to set up my domains. So, you know, if I'm sending an email from @force24.co.uk or something like that, I need to be able to put DNS entries. So that's some of the hard stuff I've got to do. So who's going to do that? Do my web developers look after that? Yep, my web developers look after that. Or if I know what I'm doing, I can copy and paste it myself. It's only a copy and paste job. Awesome. So I've got to make sure that I've got those hard things handled. But, you know, there's a reality here. So some people, one of the confusions that actually we get quite often is, well, aren't you supposed to do that, Force 24? Well, you got to understand that yes, we could do all that sort of stuff, but if you want us to put tracking scripts on your website, or you want a marketing automation platform to put tracking scripts on your website, you're really giving away the keys to the kingdom whilst they do it. You know, that obviously we're not going to do anything maliciously, but that's not a smart thing to do, is give an external organization that you don't have an agreed legal framework with access to your website and access to, say, domain names, etc., because that's risky.
It's a really interesting point what you said before, Adam, about the kind of managing the expectations in terms of like psychologically almost, and when you get a marketing automation platform on, straight away there are things that will change in an instant. You'll be able to build really simple journeys that will make your life so much easier, but there is also the thing of you're constantly learning. So when you first use marketing automation, and you know, a bit like when I first joined Force 24, I was doing simple journeys, but the journeys I'm doing now, I've learned and I've played around with things. And this is a sort of process over time. So I don't think you can expect to straight away be the top marketer of all time just in one day as soon as you get marketing automation. Yeah, it will change. There will be a lot of journeys that you can put in that will make your life so much easier. But then from that, it is a journey upwards.
And we're going to talk about some of those hard mistakes in a minute, aren't we? Some of the things that people immediately run to do and then you know, get it wrong. But just listen, chat. Anybody in the chat? Let's see if we can all figure out how to use the chat. So if you look at your mouse, wherever your mouse lives, and you find the chat, where is the chat? The chat is in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah, bottom, middle,
bottom right-hand corner. Can I? So obviously, there you go, Rachel.
Thanks,
thank you very much, Rachel. And obviously, some people have already said good morning, and thank you. It's lovely to have that. Could anybody else just type in a letter, just any letter? Let's just see if the chat works. Hello, thanks, thank you, Joe. There's Lisa. Oh, Lisa, there you go.
Tom.
Hi,
Yo.
Hello. Here they come. Brilliant. So we all know how to use chat. That's awesome. I'm really pleased. Go on, keep going. That's it.
Yeah.
We all know how to use chat. Do me a favor. Can anybody that knows how to, no, I've done that. Anybody that has onboarded marketing automation in the last year, type a Y. So that, you know, so we know whether you've onboarded. Why? If you've onboarded, why? If you haven't, hey guys, good to see you. If you haven't, press N. Just want to get no. Okay. Brilliant. Okay. Awesome. So some of you will be able to relate. Tom, okay, good. I'm pleased. That's why we asked to practice on the chat before we actually jumped into the first question. So well done. Okay. So right, we've got some people that have onboarded and some people that haven't, and that's fine. So let's talk about timeline, Rory.
Yeah. So yeah, like you say, I think what you really need to know, and when you go to your sort of marketing automation platform that you sign with, you need to know the process of it. You don't want to be left in the dark at all, because otherwise you can get this sort of period where you're not sure if you should be sending things over. You're not sure if you should be, like you're saying, with the tracking script on the website. You need to know, okay, whose job is that? Are they doing it? Are we doing it? And there's a lot of sort of complicated processes sometimes, depending on how sort of advanced you everything, and depending on the platform. And I think it's really good. I mean, I know our guys use sort of Asana to keep people sort of looped in, and they basically, they've got complete sort of visible access to, okay, right, so they're doing this now, and in 5 days time, they'll be doing this, and then they'll be doing that, and they'll be doing that. And then you can see a little flag at the end that says, and then that's when you can use it. And I think that's really important, that you know exactly kind of how far you are off from using it, so you can basically, like you say, almost, it's a bit like managing your expectations before, really. And just kind of knowing where you stand with you and your sort of marketing automation platform.
Yeah, so that's a good point, Rory. I guess what the point that you're trying to make is that you don't turn it on instantly and you can fly the helicopter. You got to go through training, you got to go through stuff. So it's important that you understand what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, and the supplier has gone through the list and says, you need that by then, that by then, that by then, that by then, and easy peasy. So that's just a project management thing, right? That's something we can all get on board with. It's pretty easy. It's just following one step after another. No ambiguity at this point, or shouldn't be any ambiguity at this point.
No.
Okay. So sorry.
I was just going to say as well, one thing as well is just when you're involved with the process, a big thing we find is just making sure you've got the key members that need to be involved. If you've got someone that you're going to have to relay information to, completely slows down the process as well. So one thing the guys, I know the guys on the onboarding process here find is it's always good to have an IT person involved, because suddenly you've got all the marketing team that are going to use it, but then they've suddenly got to relay all this information of all the IT and the kind of techie side that needs to be involved in integrations and tracking script and all that kind of thing. And suddenly they're relaying information, and it all kind of gets a bit lost in translation. And suddenly you find this onboarding process is taking, sort of months, when, it could be a lot sort of easier if you just have the kind of the right team members involved that are going to be involved sort of every stage of the onboarding process, from a technicality sort of perspective.
In theory, you can onboard marketing automation in a day, in theory, and you can integrate your CRM inside another day. You can be up and running within 2 days. In reality, people are off, people are on holiday, whatever. It happens. So let's just come to peace with that, and let's figure out make sure that the people in the right time. But let's move past this point now, Rory. Let's go to the point where we've just got the keys, we've got the helicopter, we've had our training, we understand how the buttons all function.
Yeah.
But what should we be doing first? That's the point, isn't it? What we doing first? And I think, from my perspective, if I get into yours, actually, Rory, is, one of the things that I don't like to see is marketeers continuing to do what they were doing before with new technology. So, we send a newsletter out once a month, and we send an email to this customer whenever we need this doing. And you know what? We're gonna just keep doing that. I don't mind the process of phasing old approaches out, and I get that. But what I don't really like to see personally is that we are not trying to work with the new ways of doing things. So automation says I can build campaigns reaching out into the future. It says it's going to constantly understand whether I should turn left or should turn right or whatever, and it's gonna send people on a journey. So if I'm not thinking about my marketing in a way that really best utilizes that, it is difficult to fully transition into it. So, if we take somebody from, say, MailChimp or HubSpot or wherever it is, what we tend to find is they're locked in this campaign isolation world that says, I send an email, I wait, and I see what happens. And then I give some leads to the sales team or whatever. A few months later, a week later, 2 weeks later, I send another email about something else. Now that's locked in this campaign world. Okay. Whereas how that manifests itself from what I see is that people are overburdened emails, right? Anybody who's been on any of our webinars before, any of our talks, any of the times you see me talk, certainly, I always say emails are 10 words, one button. 10 words, one button. And the reason is it's nothing to do with your message, your business, anything. It's to do with the level of attention you can expect from a recipient when they receive your email. Over time, as you get better, as you become ASOS or some brand that you know and revere and see that they're doing a lot more than 10 words on one button, you can relax all of these rules because you have that position of authority. Whereas if you are today don't have that position of authority, you have to be direct and very punchy and very smart in how you use your emails. So what we see is when you're locked in that campaign world, you're saying, well, I want to tell them this. Oh, and by the way, I also want to tell them this. Oh, and by the way, we've done this. That's 3 emails. That's 3 emails.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? What you're saying there is really, it's a mindset change. So you're saying you can't take on this new marketing automation platform and work the same way. So what you have to do is obviously you have to change your way of thinking, I think. And you have to, I think we kind of skipped over it a little bit, but I think I don't think we focused enough on the training. I think that is such a big thing there, because these marketing automation sort of platforms, and obviously Force 24 as well, they're so advanced and there's so many different things you can do that, you know, just if there's help articles, if there's training, obviously we offer free training and support for life. So we're constantly on with our customers. We want them to get the most out of the platform, because there is, like you say, there's a whole world of journeys and different things you can do to kind of make your life easier, make things better. And people don't quite realize sometimes that they've got so many options as they do. So I think seeking kind of as much advice and training and support and help as you can as soon as you've got this platform is a fantastic thing to do.
I agree. I think it stands out a mile when, and this is only speaking from our side. Yeah, it stands out a mile when a marketeer has got the confidence to reach out.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know what I find really funny is when you know, because obviously we've got the total chat histories, we've got the total dialogue history of every chat that's ever had. What we tend to find is when you start using our chat function, because it's manned 9 till 5:30 by humans, lots of humans that are there to help you. We've got a 2-minute support SLA. People don't realize that. So then what we find is when they're typing into the chat, they're using words like put button in email. And then what happens is somebody then jumps on and says, oh, hello, how are you doing? Would you like to put a button in an email? I tell you what, I'll get on jump on a quick call and I'll show you how to do it. Yeah. And so what you find then is like 2 weeks, 3 weeks later into that relationship, it's like all of a sudden the chat has gone from put button in email to hiya, hope you've had a nice weekend. Anyway, I want to put a button in an email. Yeah. And so that's great. But the point is, what I'm actually getting to here is not that. The point that I'm getting to is the fact that you can see the difference in those marketeers that are prepared to forge the relationship with our team. We really want to feel, and this isn't the pitchy bit, you know, this is about how to onboard, not just Force 24. But what we want you to feel as a business is that we're in the office with you and you are there and you can just pick up the phone, you can get on the chat, you know, and there's somebody there to help you through it all the time. And we can say that till the cows come home. Doesn't mean people do it. Doesn't mean people have got the confidence to do it. And then we ring them up and say, hey, how are you doing? We're just looking through some of your emails and we think we can improve it. Oh, I didn't know how to do that. You didn't ask. And yet, okay, I get that we've got then a responsibility to be pushing webinars like this out to our customers. And every manufacturer out there has the responsibility to try and show you what to do. I think again, you've got to turn up to them, you know, and that's the other thing, right?
I think it's one of those where I think we're all guilty of this to some extent. I don't know about you, Adam, but when you get you know, sort of a new toy, if it's a new whatever it is, tech or bit of, you know, sort of phone or whatever it is, the first thing I do is I take it out of the box and I want to play with it straight away. The instructions have gone, you know, like, and it's one of those where I just want you know, that's you written all over. But yeah, I can imagine, you know, like when you get marketing automation, you know, it's almost like the instructions go, no, I want to do all these cool things, but you do, you know, you really do need to kind of reach out and get a bit of help in terms of this, whether it is through, you know, if there's help articles, you know, or whatever basically the platform provides. Obviously, you know, we're very hands-on with ours. You know, we're super sort of helping. We want to nurture people through, but make sure if there are help articles or guides or whatever that you use them.
You get on it. You get on it. Totally agree. So look, okay, let's go back to those hard sort of mistakes that we see. And like we're saying, when you when you do it, the first thing is we see people that then try and do what they've done in the past in the old world, in the new world.
Yeah,
it's fine. But like I say, I like you to have a transition path to say, look, we're going to start moving into this way of thinking. And, recruitment businesses are a big part of our business. Those automotives, those furniture businesses, lots of different businesses we work with. But we do see within recruitment world that people are they are very locked into this sort of campaign. Bat it out the door, get it in the inbox. I have to say a million words to you because I have no residual memory of my brand because it's usually a consultant that's talking to you. Don't worry, Joe. You can get it on demand later. So lovely to meet you. Love to see you. So I've lost my. So anyway, it's bat it out the door. But no, marketers need to recognize that many communications are going to be touched. Microsoft talk about 3 a week. And when they were probed and said, well, yeah, but is that B2B, B2C? They said, no, everybody, 3 a week. And if they don't open them in 2 weeks, delete them from your database. I say that on every webinar, literally every webinar. And the point is that actually that seems really aggressive, doesn't it? And you don't actually have to do that, but understand that it's their game you're playing, and that's kind of what they're saying to do. So the thing is, we do need to up the cadence of our communications, but we need to slim down the level of information. 10 words, 1 button, plus supporting paragraphs. Yeah, I get that. You don't have to say it all in 10 words. But the point is, slim it down, increase the volume, and be more aggressive in your furlough strategies. How you get people out, and then how you keep them to one side, and then bring them back when they start to engage with you.
Yeah,
there's loads we could talk about there.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's interesting, that campaign approach. That's one of the biggest things. I think when you first start up with automation, one of the main things you want to be doing is, instead of just sending that one email, you want to be splitting that email, that content that's in that one email, into several emails over a journey, and have that sort of span out over time. And that's a million times more engaging.
The human argument, Rory.
Yeah, there you go. You love it.
I love it. I love it.
You do.
If you don't know what the human argument is, which guide has got it? The plain text nurture sequence on our website. Go to our website, go to our download lab. Plain text nurture. It distills the human argument. Sorry, Rory, carry on.
But I was going to say as well, in terms of that, you were saying, the 10 words, 1 button, your deliverability straight away, that's going to help, and there's so many different factors, obviously, engagement, deliverability. There's so many benefits to that. But
so we've talked a lot about email, about automation. And again, that's another myth. That's the thing. People say, well, it's about email, and it's about, no, it isn't.
Yeah.
No, it isn't. I don't know what the exact split is in our account, in the Force 24 Marketing 01 account, as we call it, between sending emails and text messages, obviously, and actually doing data work. It's probably mostly doing data work, I think. And so what we're talking about there, so doing data work is not just segmentation, but it is mostly segmentation. It's basically analyzing the records that come in. Thank you, Jeremy. There's everything you need. You can download the plain text. That's got the human argument in it. It's in the chat. If you click the button, you can download that guide, and you'd love it. Human argument is an awesome piece of work. Yes, doing data work. So what this is so I'm a marketeer. I've got 1,000 customers, 10,000 customers, whatever it is. And I've got my sales team tapping away on CRM, doing what they're doing. And I've got stuff happening in my marketing, people that are opening emails, people that are clicking emails, people that are viewing certain content online, people that are viewing widget A online, widget B online, whatever. Now, automation is all about taking the manual work out of that data segmentation. So quite often on my masterclass talks, I talk about who's nailed segmentation, who here is brave enough to put their hands up and say, I've nailed segmentation, nailed it. And usually nobody puts their hands up. Anybody in the chat right now prepared to stand up and say, I've nailed segmentation? Anybody? No. Move on. No, there isn't. And that's because, and when I was at university 20 odd years ago, we were talking about segmentation. It's not new, but the point is we were doing it manually, and we were always had this impression that email was more is more. Not anymore. More. It's just a case that we've got to get segmentation helps me send less and get more. But it's also about recognizing that it's not just butcher, baker, candlestick maker. It's all about getting to understand, for example, people that are butchers that have never opened an email from us. Well, what are we going to do with those guys? We need to take them out of our main data segment, put them in an unengaged segment, and let's treat them differently. Let's send our volume, much, much lower volume to those guys. Now, we've got people like Rory who open every single email from us, and he's a butcher too. Sort of. A different kind of butcher. But anyway, he opens his emails every single time, and he's super engaged, and he looks at our content. And so how are we going to treat you differently? And this is where segmentation comes in. So this is automated segmentation, guys. And it says, I set the rules of what I'm looking for, and the system does the work. So if you in your day, at any point, are manipulating Excel spreadsheets, you've got to ask the question, could the automation be doing this for me? Could it be doing? And this is where you hit that chat button and say, I've been pissing around with a spreadsheet for the rest of this week. And how can automation handle this for me? Sometimes if you're fixing bad data from what the sales team have given you, yeah, okay, I get that. You got to do that sometimes. But actually, if it's a segmentation job that you're doing and you're putting values on things or whatever, then normally you can circumvent that. You say, just stop doing that. Put it in automation. Automation will look for those values, put them in the segments, move on. Next.
Yeah. So I think like what you really want to get across there is everything manual that you're doing usually can be done by some kind of automation, some kind of automated journey. And, you know, even if it's just sorting out, like you say, your data to make sure you're getting, you were saying before about the Microsoft, say after, what was it, 3 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. You can have an automation. So you just clean out your data and straight away, like you say, your deliverability will shoot up. You know, you've got so many processes, which basically, if you move to a marketing automation, the first thing you should be looking at when you're onboarding it is, right, how can I move everything manual that I've got to automation?
I want you to have lunch breaks. I want you to start at 9, go home at 5, easy peasy, automation handle it. Now, just think about this. A lot of people talk about the email deliverability argument and why it's so important to do it. Imagine if you did this, by the way. Imagine if you actually followed Microsoft's advice and you sent 3 emails a week to everybody. And if after 14 days they hadn't opened one, you deleted them. Your open rates on those emails would be 80%. After the first week, it'd be 80% plus. It will be insane. And that's what they're pushing you for. They're pushing you to say, be more aggressive. So a lot of businesses start automation and they're like, oh, I've got all this data from years ago. I've no idea the last time it opened the last email. Apparently we can get it from MailChimp, but I don't know how to do it. So we'll never do it. So I'm just going to now throw out an email to 20,000 people and I'm going to hope that goes well. We know what happens there.
Yeah.
You guys, you got to be really smart with this. You got to know where Microsoft is at. And by the way, Google and Microsoft, they own the email world. We know that. I say this every single time. But also, they are both akin. They both agree with the principle, which is sending more often to people that are engaging. That's what we want to see. And when they're not engaging, you've got to move them into a furlough strategy where we send 1 email a month, 1 email a quarter, whatever it is. And as soon as they start engaging, we get them back into the rhythm of it. And then we start talking to them more often, reward them. So here's the other thing that I often find that I this is one of the hard mistakes that I see people making that is one of those, and it's been bred by MailChimp and Campaign Monitor and HubSpot to a degree. And it's basing automated decisions around open and click, right? This is terrible. So imagine I'm getting you to download some content and I've built a 3, 4, 5 stage email journey that's saying, hey, we've written this great content. We're awesome. You need to download it. You're going to love it. You're going to learn these things. So I recognize that in my campaign world, I've got to break out of the 1 stage campaign world and I've got to run that campaign over 6 steps. But where they send the first email, they say, right, wait 3 days, wait 4 days, wait 5 days, whatever it is, wait 3, and then make a decision. Did they open that email? Yes. Okay, well, I'll not send another one. No, I'll send it again. If anybody has ever done that, stop it right now. Because what you're doing is you're saying email 1 goes to everybody. Brilliant. Smart targeting. Email 1 email 2 goes to everybody that doesn't care. So if you think about your delivery profile, sorry, please try again. Siri's going off me there. So you think about by the time you get to stage 3, stage 4, stage 5, you are sending to people that are the worst of the worst in your list. And your email profile and your deliverability profile is going, you are on the floor. Flip that. Firstly, I'd say, what part of an open and click denotes commercial intent? I'll tell you, none. Yep. Just because I've opened and clicked an email doesn't mean I'm going to buy from you. It doesn't mean I'm going to attend your webinar. It might mean I'm going to download the content. So we've got to flip it and we say, okay, look, we've got to be accepting of the fact that we want to strip out the bad contacts quickly, definitely. But this journey is running for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, running for 4 weeks. And I'm going to send my first email and I'm going to make the decision on the commercial outcome I set. Not the open, not the click. I don't care about that. That's an incidental. So I asked you to come and join our webinar or sign up for our webinar. So on the second email, the question is, did you sign up for the webinar? No. Okay, you get to go again then. If you did, I'm obviously not going to email you again about the webinar because you've already signed up. And what that does is it means that you can create a healthy balance of people that are engaging with your email and those that aren't. So hopefully our rates maybe aren't in the 80s, but they are in the 25s to 30s.
Yeah.
But then what happens? 2 weeks clicks in and we're saying, right, okay, well, we've sent to Rory 6 times, 3 times, 4 times. Just not having it. So let's take them out. Forget. So the volume comes down, but the next email that goes out, your open rate will be really high because you've taken away all the bad guys. Well, not the bad guys, the guys that aren't engaging. And then what happens is the next campaign that goes out, all of a sudden, the engagement rate goes up because Microsoft and Google have said, this guy's he's starting to get a picture here. Yeah. He's starting to get it. And so you have got like literally fantastic inbox placement and things go better and better and better and better. And you know, it's like SEO. SEO, when you get it right, sets the business on fire. Same with deliverability. When you get it right, it sets the business on fire. And just because it's going to your inbox or your mate's inbox doesn't mean the world is getting in their inbox.
I think it's interesting what you're saying there, Adam. I think it goes back almost to this kind of mindset shift as soon as you've got marketing automation again. So many people go from these email platforms where you have such limited and basic results that you go, oh, what have we got? Open and click. Okay. Open and click means, you know, good and bad essentially. And obviously we spoke about this on the first webinar and the spring webinar series, which was this latest update to iOS 15, which was the mail privacy protection. MPP privacy, something like that. Yeah. But either way, obviously this was seen as bad news for marketers because meant that pretty much every iPhone now, which is about 60% of the market, opens and clicks every email. So your results are completely skewed. But what we kind of summed up, and you can catch that webinar on demand. We've got that basically on the main page. But yeah, what we were saying there is it doesn't really matter because what you should be doing is you should be using an advanced tool like marketing automation to change kind of your perception. And just like Adam was speaking about there, you shouldn't be looking at opens and clicks. You should be looking, what's the end goal? You know, if you've got an event, have they signed up for the event? If you've got a webinar, have they signed up for the webinar? You know, what is the end goal? And opening and clicking an email doesn't actually really mean anything. If you open it, I could have opened and clicked a webinar, an email about a webinar, but doesn't mean I'm going to the webinar or signed up for it.
But Rory, actually, it wasn't you that opened and clicked it.
There you go. It was iPhone. Apple. It was It was Apple.
Yeah. They want to go to your webinar.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, they don't really count in this. Yeah. So it's a really good point. The other thing that just talking about is I mean, I feel like we've spoken about this, but I feel like we want to just quantify it a little bit more about this move from the campaign being an isolated execution to being lots of campaigns with, you know, with the webinar campaign has got 6 touches to it, let's say. Marketeers, when they hear that, think, oh my God, how on earth am I going to do all of this? And, you know, we said about the 10 words, 1 button and, you know, that's a challenge in itself. But the other thing that I think is really important about this is you guys have to build templates. You get templates. And I've always believed this. And so when it came down to in the very early days, specifying, you know, how our email template editor was going to work and how the landing page editor was going to work and all the rest of it, there was this for me, there was this vision that said, I like templates, but I hate them at the same time. And so I, as a marketeer, need to understand what an email is going to look like before I've even built it. Before I even get sit down, I need to know what it's going to look like, because otherwise I'm just going to waste so much time on trying to craft an email. I'm trying to be somebody I'm not, a creative person, and to build it. So I need to be able to sit down and know what it's going to look like before it's even gone, before I've even sat down and done it. And so when we were doing it, we were saying that, look, you kind of need templates, but you don't. You need bits of templates. So you need template snippets. Yes. So we built a thing called snippets. And snippets is all about a marketeer being able to have, look, I've got 100 snippets or 20 snippets or 10 snippets. But with those 10 snippets, I can build the layout of any of my emails going drag, 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 finger. Oh, let me try a testimonial in there somewhere. Drag that in there, see how it goes. But you have to get this template, because you need to be able to build these emails in 5 minutes. 5 minutes is the acid test for me, Rory.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Because if you can't build it and say it in 5 minutes, yeah, all right, it might have taken you longer to have crafted the words in a Word document. But if it takes you longer than 5 minutes, it's unnecessary complication that you've included in that email that the user is just going to not appreciate.
Yeah.
Simples.
No, it is I was going to say an interesting point. Like you say, these, when you're sort of crafting this, when you get this marketing automation platform, one of the first things you should do is have this layout. What are your emails going to look like? Because otherwise you'll get ahead of yourself. You'll get into, what's the campaign, whether you're advertising for, like you say, an event or something coming up, and you'll go, okay, right, we'll plan all these emails, we'll do all those bits. And then suddenly you get to it and you go, right, okay, we need to get these out the door. And then suddenly you realize you're wasting your time on building emails because you've no idea what the email is going to look like. And I think it's really important that you have the kind of, whether it's the kind of base template set up in your account, whether it's, well, obviously we have the snippets function. So whether you've got a bank of snippets, that's the last thing you want to be worrying about. You want that to be the easiest thing possible.
Yeah.
So you can just quickly go, right, campaign, let's get it out the door. Bang, 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 quick, that's in. And then obviously you can just worry about the text and the message.
But Rory, here's the thing, right? It still has to look badass.
Yes,
that's
the point.
Yeah. You got to do the squint test challenge. The squint test challenge, sit back in your chair, squint your eyes, look at the email. If the message pops, nailed it. If it doesn't, redo it. So you got to keep going. But listen, you said it's okay, but I don't think it is okay. I hate working with templates. But I love working with templates. So the snippets is really important for me. So it's like, I just cannot, as soon as I saw this in life, and we did a video ages ago, probably 2017, the code snippet challenge, we called it. And we had a guy working in MailChimp, guy working on, although we didn't call it MailChimp at the time, but I can tell you right now, it's MailChimp. Guy working in snippets and a guy working in just code. He was just seeing if he could, he was a coder. He was like, I can build an email quicker than you. And MailChimp guy was like, MailChimp's dead easy to build emails. Our guy built the email. So I then created an email and said, right, that's it. That's what you got to build. And it wasn't a big email. And our guy did it in like 4 minutes 50 or something like that. MailChimp was like 9 minutes, something or other. And these are professionals. And the coder was like 40 minutes. And then when we tested it, it was just like full of holes and litmus bugs. And so we had to go, we're like, nah, sorry, mate. But anyway, look, that it's not okay. I know if anybody out there is using Pardot, unashamedly say that is what's wrong with that is what is wrong with the email world right now. So I would never normally, I'm sure it's a great product in lots of ways. I can tell a Pardot email a million miles away. I'm not calling bad-mouthing a competitor at all. I just think it's wrong. I'm sorry. I just think it's wrong because it's making marketeers build crap emails. And that isn't what it's about. That is your job. You've got to connect with that audience. And that is the tool you're doing it with. And I'm not talking about Pardot anymore. I'm talking about that creativity but yet still the time is really important. You've got 5 minutes, as Rory says. Last thing you come to is getting the emails out the door. Oh, crap. What are they going to look like? And it's something we've got to address early on. Let's talk about go on, Rory.
I was just about to say, we spoke about the emails and stuff, but you could have the best email in the world. They could look amazing. They could be optimized, everything like that. You've got the journey, but we need to know where they're going. So this is, where are we actually sending these people? Because that is part of it. And that's part of the conversion of getting these people to kind of act how you want them to, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So the conversion, let's talk about the conversion. Years ago, I used to talk about this and say, well, you know what, if your website's not capable of handling traffic, then you need to optimize your website, and then I started to look at this more detail. The email's only the bait, isn't it, really, at the end of the day? Or the email's all it's going to do is get them by the ear, pull them into, then what? Is it okay to send them to a Zoom page where they sign up for my webinar? No, it's not. It's not okay. You got to optimize your outcome. And what you got to do is you got to use your automation platform to vend those landing pages. So the email gets them there. It is a fundamental component within the automation platform to have landing page builder. If you haven't got a landing page builder, you got to use Unbounce or something like that, because I've got to control that environment that I'm sending my traffic to. I've got to control it and optimize it. We know that your website converts at 3%, 2%, 1%. We know that your blog decimates traffic. So don't send traffic to a blog unless you absolutely have to. So we also know that a landing page should be 10 to 15%. If you've already listened to one of my webinars before, I talk about this all the time. That's the number I'm targeting. So I've sent 100 people. Your email's gone and done an amazing job. It's got 100 clicks. Great on it. Good on it. 100 real life people desperate to attend my webinar. Now, fallout rates are a killer. So if I'm getting 10%, that means 10 of them have converted into an attendee. Great. But there was 90 people turned up and only 10. I need to be getting, and actually my view is that I think I should be targeting about 30% conversion rate on a webinar sign up page, 30%. So every 100 people that turn up, 30 people say they're coming. If I send it to my website where I've got a little bit of a blog that's been proportioned off and a button somewhere on the blog where it takes them to a Zoom form where they fill in the details, I'm looking at less than 1%. And if anybody's got any evidence to the contrary on that, please chime in. But I've seen that you'll get to that page, you'll get a mass fallout rate from that blog page because it's got your navigation on it, it's got a blog navigation on it, it's got a header on it, and I'm sort of squeezing the information I want into this little column in the middle. Whereas the landing page is loads of room to breathe. There's the content. That's why you're going to come to the webinar. And that's how you say you're going to come. And I want 30%. It's not okay as marketeers to not be optimizing our outcome. But again, just going back to Rory's point a minute ago, I sit down and think, right, I've got my data right. I've got my campaign right. Oh, crap. Where am I going to send the traffic? Well, let's just build a blog. No, the time it takes you to build a blog should be longer than the time it takes you to build a landing page. Rory.
Yeah, I was going to say it's, again, we've been banging this message. It's the mindset shift. It's going in and not doing things the old way. You've got the tools, you've got the advanced automation. So use it. Optimize this page as much as you possibly can. Don't just send them, if you've got an advanced marketing automation platform, don't just do an email and send them to your website or something.
What, like Force 24?
Exactly, just like Force 24. If you've got an advanced marketing automation platform like Force 24, you can send them to a completely optimized landing page, which is what you should be doing. You should be utilizing the tool as much as possible. And again, like you say, it's this mindset shift of not just sending them the old ways. It's going, right, okay, now you should have the tools to be able to send them to a completely personalized landing page.
Optimized.
Completely personalized, optimized. It's, we're saying you've got their name on it. It's filled out, you can have a form automatically filled out. If you've got the details already and you don't want any more, you can just say, click here to sign up for the event. Like, how easy is that? It's so easy.
Rory, we always talk about this. Yeah. I'm there in my marketing automation platform and I send you an email and I go, insert personalization first name. Hi, Rory. Would you like to come to our webinar? We know that Force 24 would love our webinar. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Click send. Off that email goes. It goes to 100 people. You get an email saying, hi, Rory, Force 24 will get a lot out of this webinar, blah, blah. Just click here to sign up. Click it.
Yeah.
It then goes and says, it goes to a page on your website. It says, hi, sign up to our webinar now. Insert first name. Hold on a minute. You just sent me an email, called me Rory. So you've got my name, you've got my email address, and you've got my company name. And now you're asking me to type this into some. It just feels disconnected. And that's why I was saying before, if you're using Unbounce, you're using WordPress, you're using whatever it is to run it, you're not going to be able to do that sort of level of connection. You need that landing page fundamentally connected to the data layer through either script or through the native functions in the platform. But you need to do that, because this is the difference between the 10%, the 15%, and the 30% returns on those campaigns.
Yep.
And I'm talking from both Rory and I, we're talking from experience when we say, look, our marketing department has grown and grown. And we followed those principles. If you're going to do something, you've got to optimize every single little bit of it, because you're just giving away opportunities. It's not because we're aggressive sales monsters. It's to do with the fact that guy thought, yeah, I'm interested, clicked it, can't be asked. And it's that I can't be asked that the customer gets, that we've got to eradicate.
Yeah.
No, we went that extra mile. We made it clear and we made it easy for you. And all you had to do was click the button. Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's what we want for you guys as well. And it's about just knowing how technology works.
Yeah.
Listen, I think we've talked about some of the sort of key parts. Is there anything, Rory, that we've missed that we don't, or should we let these good people get on with their busy days?
I think we've pretty much covered everything there. Like you say, I think it is about just, I think the biggest thing is that mindset shift of just knowing you have so much possibility right at your fingertips and not using those old ways. I think that's the biggest message we can get across, is change your ways with the new technology that you have, and basically use that advanced automation as much as possible. And, if that needs, well, you will need sort of like training, help, bits like that, and try and use that as much as possible to sort of champion yourself.
So as Michael Jackson once said, you got to make that change. That's what we're saying. Yeah,
pretty much. Yes.
Okay. So listen, we've written a guide.
We have indeed.
And of course you can have that guide.
Yeah.
And you can have it for free, obviously, but it's not finished yet. It is in the final throes of creative as we understand it. But I've just put on the screen there a little PowerPoint thingy where you can get your smartphones out. If you want that priority in your inbox, it's coming on Friday. Awesome. In your inbox on Friday's a bank holiday.
Oh, that's meant to be Thursday. That's my mistake there. I'll take that.
Hold on.
I was going to say, you're in there now. You can just in my head, I was like, it's the end of the week.
Thursday, coming on Thursday. If you want that in your inbox on Thursday, so you can spend your Easter weekend reading this wonderful guide about getting the best advice on how to onboard marketing automation, please get your smartphones out, scan that little thingy, and you'll get it in your inbox first thing on Friday morning.
We also have one more thing as well. We've got tomorrow at 11. Adam's going to be hosting a group sort of demo webinar, and it's just going to be showcasing all the Force 24 features. A bit similar to basically this format. You can just come in, drop in, and just see basically the inner workings of an advanced marketing automation platform.
Yeah.
So if that sounds of interest to you, just pop in the chat a why, and we can sort out the rest for you, and sort of get you involved in that.
So yeah, just on that point, just on that point. So this is a group webinar. So guys, you've got your fingers and you've got your keypads. This is not about us getting on and selling to you. This is about you taking a peek into the tools that we've got in the marketing automation platform that you can have. So if you do want to, that you use your finger and you find the Y button on your chat and you just press it. You just press the Y. That's it. Can anybody? Rachel, you've done it. Thank you, Rachel. Legend. Who else? Ashley. Yeah, well. Good. Perfect. You've both got index fingers and you've got Y's on your keyboard. Oh, great. Oh, here they come now. That's excellent to see. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Brilliant. So I want you to come because it's really boring when I'm on my own and there's nobody there to talk to. So we're just going to talk about some of the stuff, show you the features, show you the products. We've got a big product release actually tomorrow. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to show you all of that.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. And you see what sort of cool stuff we've got in the product. So yeah. Brilliant. All right. So thank you very much, guys. You may now go about your business. I feel like you've earned a certificate or something. I haven't got one for you, but you've done well. So thank you for your time, and we'll see you again pretty soon. Next one in the series will be in your inbox as well pretty soon. So thank you very much, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Take care.